Hi, this is Fazana again. Welcome to part 4 of probability tree diagrams. This video here is quite intense because it involves algebra and ratio and really tests to see whether you understand the concepts of probability. Yeah. So remember, with algebra, if you've watched my algebra videos, I've always said that if you don't know what to do with a letter, think of a number. What would you do with a number? And then you apply the same principles to the letter. Yeah. So treat them with the same respect. Okay. Yeah. All right. And also remember, multiply the probabilities if it's followed by, and add the probabilities if it's an or situation. All right. Okay, let's do these questions. Okay, Amy picks a colored disc at random from a bag. The probability she picks a red disc is 2/5. So then the probability of not red is 3/5. Okay, so this time I'm just sort of preparing as I read it. Yeah, okay, so everything doesn't feel overwhelming. All right. Beth then picks a colored disc at random from a different bag. Okay, so she's picking one from here, so the probability is 2/5. And the probability of picking a red disc from here is P. Oh, God. All right. So the probability of not red here, because we know that the probabilities, the sum of probabilities adds up to 1, the probability of not red is 1 minus P. Okay, yeah. And then the probability that both Amy and Beth pick a red is 4/15. So you can tell that would be the probability of red and red. Okay, yeah, all right. By first finding the probability that Beth picks a red disc P, find the probability that neither Amy nor Beth pick a red disc. So then we'd be saying the probability of not red and not red. Okay, yeah, all right. So there's quite a, you can tell it's quite an intense sort of question, so you really have to concentrate. Okay, so the probability of not red and not red, and red, not red, and red, not red. Okay, so you can tell that's Amy and that's Beth. Okay, so this one was easy, so that would just be 2/5 and 3/5. And the probability of picking a red one there was P, and the probability would be 1 minus P, and the same here, P, 1 minus P. Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, so the probability that both Amy and Beth pick a red is 4/15. So then you know that that followed by that would become 4/15. So we go 2/5 times P. So 2/5 times P. Yeah, and we can just write it as 2P over 5 equals 4/15. Okay, here I could cross multiply. Let's see what's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, let's cross multiply, because you know the format of 3/6 equals 2/4. I always use that if something's in that format, if it's algebra. So I can go 3 times 4 is the same as 6 times 2. So then 15 times 2 is 30. So 30p equals 4 times 5 is 20. And if I divide by 30, I'll get just 1p equals 20 divided by 30, which is 2/3. Okay, yeah, so that's quite good, isn't it? So now we can say we know that's 2/3, and that's 1/3, and that's 2/3 and 1/3. Okay, yeah, all right. So can you see it started off really ugly, but we just end up doing exactly what we know about probabilities, and then suddenly everything looks really pretty. Yeah, okay. So P stands for pretty. Okay, so then we want to find the probability of NR, yeah, which is that there. So then here it's really easy. So we just go, oh, so it's 3/5 times 1/3, and we get 3/15. Okay, wasn't that easy? Yeah, good, excellent. Okay, let's look at another question. Okay, there are n sweets in a bag. 6 of the sweets are orange. The rest of the sweets are yellow. Okay, so let's prepare. So there are n sweets in a bag. So the probability of getting an orange would be 6 out of the total n. Yeah? So with yellow would be, so here I just say, oh, if it was like 6/10, yeah, for the orange, then the yellow would be 4/10. Yeah? So how did I get that 4? I'd be going 10 minus the 6. So I'd be going, so n minus 6 divided by n. Okay, so can you see again? I didn't know what to do with letters, so what I did was do numbers and then figure out whatever I did with the numbers. I do the same thing with the letters. Okay, yeah, is that all right? Cool. Okay, right. Hannah takes a random sweet from the bag. She eats the sweet. So it's a not replace situation. Ooh, so we have to go one less, one less. Okay? And then she takes another one. The probability she eats 2 orange sweets is 1/3. So that's the probability of orange. Okay? And then show that n squared minus n minus 90 equals 0. Okay, you suddenly think, what am I supposed to be doing with that? But again, don't let that faze you. Just go with the flow and you find you'll actually arrive at it. Okay, yeah? So here you've got oy, a y, a y, a y. Am I doing this question? Okay, so orange is 6 out of n, and that's n minus 6 over n. Now, the beauty of part 3 was when we talked about the not replace, we know we go one less, yeah? So we have one less because we only have 5 orange sweets, and now we've got one less in total, so we've got n minus 1, okay? Yeah? At the moment, that's all I really need, because it says 2 orange sweets, so that's all I need, yeah? Okay? We will come back and find the whole picture, but for the moment, that's the only thing I need. So I'm going 6 over n times 5 n minus 1 equals 1/3. Okay, yeah. And if I multiply it across, I got 6 times 5 is 30 over n minus 1 equals 1/3. And here I'll use my 3/6 equals 2/4 format, where I can cross multiply. So I'll go 30 times 3, let's do it the other way around, n times n minus 1 times 1. So we'll just expand that. So we've got n squared minus n equals 90. And you're suddenly looking there and smiling. And then because you know it's quadratic, we always do minus 90. And you get n squared minus n minus 90 equals 0. Okay? Yeah? Wasn't that all right? It's so good. Try not to giggle on your exam. Okay? All right. Okay, what we're actually just going to do here is just complete the picture, yeah? So that we can actually just whatever you're asked, you'll be able to cope with it. Okay, so in terms of yellow, we had n minus 6 over n, so we still have the n minus 6, but the total is n minus 1 now. Okay, yeah. All right, if she's taken a yellow one, and if she's going to take an orange one, she still has 6 orange ones, so it would be 6, but the total is n minus 1. All right, and because she's picked a yellow, then she'll have one less, so instead of n minus 6, it'll be n minus 7 over, sorry, n, pencil seems to have gone funny, n minus 1, just put that there, sorry, and okay, let's just fix this, sorry about this. N minus 1. Okay, all right. So remember, whatever you're asked, that's the way to do it. And then just remember this format. It's such a lovely format. You can call it the Faz format, yeah? Where you can just cross multiply. All right, let's just check this. Let's try and find out what n is. Okay, so here we've got a quadratic one. So here, because it's just a 1n squared, yeah, we're just thinking of two numbers that add to give minus 1 and multiply to give minus 90. If they multiply to give a minus, you know one's a positive and one's a negative. And you've got minus 10 and 9. Okay? And then you just go put it in brackets. N plus 9, n minus 10 equals 0. So n could either be minus 9, which it really can't be, a negative number, or n equals 10. Oh my God, isn't that what we got there? All right, so n is 10. So let's test to see if it does come to a third. So 6 over n would be 6 tenths, and that would have been 5, and then 10 minus 1, 9. Yeah? So you can see 6 tenths times 5 ninths comes to 30 90ths. And if we divide by 30, you get your third. And then you tick and you say, God, I'm good. All right, okay? So again, you know, when you finish your questions in the exams and you want to check, this is a brilliant check. And if this is like a 5-mark question, it's just yours, yeah? Just guaranteed. Okay? Aiming for level 9. All right, yeah? A double star. Okay, all right, let's look at the last one. John has an empty box. He puts some red counters and some blue counters into the box. The ratio, the ratio of the number of red counters to the number of blue counters is 1 to 4. So immediately I just prepare. So I go red to blue is 1 to 4. And I'll just put a total. Every time I say total, people forget it. When I say total, everyone remembers. Yeah. Linda takes at random 2 counters from the box. We assume it's not replaced, so she's not grabbing the 2 counters. She's picking one, and then she's going to pick another one. So she's not replacing. Okay? The probability she takes 2 red counters is 6 out of 155. And again, you look at that and you thought, what? I'm like, what kind of fraction is that? And the question is, how many red counters did John put into the box? Okay? All right, where do we start? Let's try with algebra. Because we know we can't actually use the 1 and the 4, because when we not replacing it, can you see it becomes 1 less? Yeah? And you can't make 1 less than the 1, because it would become 0. Okay, so what I do is I say, let me call that x, and I always call the smaller one x. So that would be 4x. and then that would be 5x. Okay, yeah. So, that total is really very useful, because then when you have red and blue here, the probability of red is x over 5x. Yeah, and the blue will be 4x over 5x. Okay, yeah. And here we've got red and blue, and red and blue. Okay, and again, you can tell if it's not replaced, it'll be one less. So it'll be x minus 1 and 5x minus 1. Okay, and then the probability that she takes 2 red is that odd looking fraction. So let's go for it. So we've got x over 5x times x minus 1 over 5x minus 1. Don't fret, it's going to be all right. Just continue writing and see where it takes us. Okay, so here we can combine it. We've got x minus 1 over 5x times 5x minus 1 equals 6 over 155. Okay, and here my Faz format kicks in. 3 6 equals 2/4. So we're going to cross multiply. Yeah. So we've got 155x times x minus 1 equals, and then 6 times 5 is 30. So we've got 30x 5x minus 1. Okay, you all right so far? Good. Okay, we've got 155x squared minus 155x equals 150x squared minus 30x. Okay, you can tell it's quadratic-y. So we're going to make one side 0. So we're going to minus the 150x squared, and we're going to add the 30x. Yeah, so we do the opposite. So you've got 155 minus 150 is 5. So you've got 5x squared. And you've got minus 155 plus 30. So that becomes minus 125x equals 0. Okay, let's factorize. So we've got 5x, and we've got x minus 25. Okay, yeah, all right. Suddenly everything looks much easier, isn't it? Isn't it? So we've got either 5x equals 0 or x minus 25 equals 0. So we know that can't be right. We can't have no counters. So x must be 25. All right, yeah, okay. Shall we test it? Oh God, let's. So we've got 25 over 25 times 5 is 125, and that would be 25 minus 1 is 24 over 1 less 124. Let's just write that there. So you've got 25 over 125 times 24 over 124, and when you put that on your calculator, simplified, guess what you come up with? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, all right. Should be 2 ticks rather than 2 exclamation marks. All right, okay. So the question was, how many red counters did John put into the box? So you can tell it would be 25 red counters. All right, yeah, how was it? Good? Enjoyed it? As I said, it feels intense, but can you see once you've got the basics covered? Yeah, so these are the things you have to know. These are the basic concepts. And once you know it, and you know this about one less, and then you use my Faz format, and everything just falls into place. And of course, quadratic equations you should be good at. And always check it. Again, it doesn't take long to check, but at least you know this would be a 6-mark question. And the marks are yours, and they're yours. Yeah? All right. So it feels so good, doesn't it? Yeah? Knowing those marks are yours. Okay. After watching all 4 parts of this topic, you just know that your probability of getting an exam question is 1. Yeah? Absolutely certain. I'll upload a part 5 when I find some other interesting questions. Worry not. I'm with you every step of the way. Keep working hard. It's so worth it. And remember, you're in control. Until next time, take care. Bye.